Right, so in this vlog, what we're going to do is have a look at how to pack stuff. And I know it might sound like teaching grandma to suck eggs. However, I do quite a bit of traveling, and one of the things I love most about it is being able to find certain ways to fit stuff in the suitcase. So in this vlog, I want to talk you through a few of the tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way and some of my top bits of gear that we do for traveling. So there's loads of vlogs out there and hints and tips on, things like checking in early. Things like if there's two people and there's 3 seats, make sure you book in a seat on either side and leave one space in the middle, so that if somebody doesn't take that space, you've got the 3 seats, but if someone does take that space, then you just ask them if they can move and you sit next to your friend or your partner. Things like downloading the apps for airlines and even putting your shoes inside shower caps. But the thing I wanted to look at is more kind of not life hacks, but how to organize stuff, and specifically stuff for cameras and traveling with camera gear. I don't mean necessarily professional camera gear, but just camera gear in general if you're traveling with lots of electronics. So finding out what the best way is to travel with lots of kit like that. So getting the right luggage is always important, and I use the Subterra by Thule, the 70cm version, and full disclosure, they did send me this for free. However, I always have used Thule products, whether it's the roof boxes, whether it's the bags, whatever. They've just started the luggage line, so they sent me it to try out, and it's absolutely fantastic. But stuff that goes in it is as important. And when it comes to knowing where your luggage is going, then you can do a few things. Put a tag on it, it's always great. Or put a business card or something, a few business cards inside it, so that when people open it up, they can see exactly who to call. And there are things now which are track dots, like these. And these are little things that you put inside your luggage, you turn it on, and it knows when you're flying and when you've landed, and it'll send you a text or an email to your phone and tell you where it is. And I'd love to recommend TrackDot, this particular one. However, I've not quite got it to work properly yet, so I still put those business cards inside my luggage just to make sure people know who I am and where I am when they find my luggage in the wrong place. Packing. Make sure you're organised. All the time you're going to need to make sure that you've got all your stuff organised, and I wrote down, make sure you cube up. So these things are fantastic bits of kit to organise everything, and I make sure that everything goes inside these and they're nice and breathable so nothing gets too stuffy, and then you've got all your stuff in one place. This is specifically pants and socks, and they'll be labelled differently depending on what goes in them, but you can change those labels regardless, or just don't adhere to them. If you're a bit of a rebel, then just don't listen to what it says on the cube. But this is specifically pants and socks, and one of the things that I always try and do going out, doesn't necessarily mean it's like that coming back, is roll things, because you fit so much more in. So this is all rolled pants, all rolled socks, and there's a belt in there as well, but this is specifically all of these, and I do recommend them. They send me lots of nice gear, and the reason they send me lots of nice gear is because I bought lots of it in the first place and use it quite a lot. Pair of Thieves. These guys make fantastic underwear and socks, but it's all really light, which is fantastic for traveling because you want to make sure all your stuff is as light as possible. So microfiber pants in case you want them, but they are fantastic for light bits of kit to go in your bag. Good. The same kind of thing goes for toiletries, really. You can't get away from the fact that water, 1 litre of water weighs a kilo, so if you start taking lots of toiletries, it's going to add up. But with your toiletries, you want to make sure that it's in a waterproof bag, so one that's not going to leak out everywhere. And also, if you need to take certain things, like I understand there's certain moisturizers people like, certain face washes, and if you can get away with it, then you can buy a lot of that stuff out there. Stuff that's just generic things, deodorant or shower gel, whatever, then you can buy that on the road. But a waterproof bag like this are fantastic. So charging things up is one of those things that's important to everyone, not just people who are professional photographers and videographers. So having a packing cube for this is also really, really good. So inside here, I've got everything I'm going to need to charge things up and store all my footage as well. So at the back, I'll have all my charging cables. I've got charging cables for the iPhone, for micro USBs, and also mini USBs as well. Chargers for my drone, other chargers, and I'll pick a couple of these out in my top bits of kit later on in the video as well. But everything I need for charging is in one place, and that means if I ever want to charge anything, well, I know that it's in there for a start, because all of it's in one place. But also, if I want to charge anything at all, I just grab one bag out, and that's exactly what I need. One thing I always like to take with me as well and some people don't, but I feel it's really important, is a little first aid kit. Just stuff like plasters and little bandages, gels for your heel if your shoe starts to rub, temporary fill-ins. If filling falls out, then you can put temporary filling in there. Just stuff like that, ibuprofen, aspirin, hay fever tablets, stuff that might come up along the way, not necessarily just for you, but the people you travel with as well and other people along the way. First aid kit I think is important. I think it's always important to know where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and have those top tips. There's no one better really, and I do a lot of work for the guys at Lonely Planet, but it's because I think that they're a fantastic brand, and everyone is the go-to book to go to for this kind of thing. So having a book that tells you where to go, or the app, or do your due diligence on the website as well. Go on there and find out exactly where you're going. So when it comes to cameras and hand luggage, because those two really go hand in hand for a lot of photographers and filmmakers, because you don't want to put your cameras through in whole luggage, you always want to take it on board. I use the Thule Covert, which is this pack here, which is a fantastic pack with loads and loads of space in it for all your gear. It's got a big compartment down the bottom with side access around this side, but also a big compartment up the top as well, and loads of little pockets. Genuinely, I've had this for about 8 months, 9 months, and I just found yesterday another new pocket that I didn't know I had. It's crazy. So when it comes to packing your cameras and your hand luggage, it might sound silly, but take all the things that you need and nothing you don't. We're always going to try and get away with the most size and the most weight that we possibly can on board when it comes to these kind of things. But that means sometimes we compromise in things like leaving lenses behind, leaving cameras behind, whatever. But take all the things you need and nothing that you don't. When it comes to charging our equipment, already in our whole luggage, we should have all our kit. But if we can possibly get away with it, go with the things that you can charge multiple things off. So in here, for example, I've got a few different ways of charging different bits of kit. The camera I'm talking into right now is a Canon 60D, and I've got a little charger that can charge that off micro USB for these batteries. And also I can charge other things off that as well, like my action camera gear. So these are both little chargers that I can use to charge things, but both have micro USB imports. And same for my little 360 camera too, that has a micro USB in. So I can charge 3 different cameras off one micro USB. Also then we've got things like other cameras and drones, for example. For the DJI Mavic, I've got a cool 4-way battery charger that can charge 4 batteries together. And little adapters then, like these things that have 4 USB inputs, so you can charge 4 USB things at the same time. Really, really handy. So in this little case, I should have everything I need to store all my files, hard disk as well, and to charge all those things up too. We'll come back to that in a little bit. There's one more thing in there that is a really cool piece of kit that I definitely recommend everyone take with them on their trips. When it comes to lenses, there's no right or wrong thing to do when taking camera lenses and camera bodies, but I always try and make sure I have a full wide range right through from, well, this is 17 to 40, 24 to 70, and 70 to 200. So it's a good range in there, right from a wide angle 17 lens right through to 200. And even on this camera, I've got 11 to 16. So the wide range and the close-up range is well covered within all those lenses. Camera bodies, I'll take 2 camera bodies, one for vlogging and video, one for photographs. So I've got the Sony A7S and the Canon EOS 60D in there as well, which just makes sure that I've got a good range of vlogging cameras and photography cameras. And because you're going to have so many cameras, it means that you're going to have lots of batteries to go with them, and you've got the charging covered, but the batteries need to go somewhere. So these are great bits of kit to take with you. These are LiPo guard bags. They're not very expensive, you can get them off eBay, and all my batteries go inside here. No matter what they are, I try and strip batteries out of absolutely everything and put them into one bag. So that means, you know, when you take cameras on board, when you take things on board, you're not supposed to store them in the whole luggage anyway, but this just means that you've done your due diligence and that these are fire guard, fire protected, and that you've thought about how you're going to travel with your batteries. Having said that, I do leave one battery in my vlogging camera and one battery in my photographic camera because I need to be able to take photos on the fly. So if I'm somewhere and all my batteries are in there, then I'm kind of stuck without them. So one stays in you and one stays in my photography camera in there too. Right, top bits of kit, things that you should definitely need when going with you that you might not already know about. Apps are always a good start for this kind of thing. So one that I definitely recommend is one called Maps.me. And Maps.me is a great it's a great app that means you can download maps offline and still does turn-by-turn navigation when you're in other countries. So even though people like 3Mobile now do feel at home in lots of different countries, which means internet data doesn't necessarily cost more or it's completely free, Maps.me in any place will work as long as you download the map before you go. So check out Maps.me as well. And obviously those types of tube maps then, like London Tube Map, and I've got a KCR one for when I'm out in, and an MTR one for when I'm in Hong Kong. Tube maps from around the world are fantastic for that kind of thing. So have a look and download them before you head off. Lots of people already have them, but some people don't. Weigh-in scales for your luggage, making sure that you know how heavy it is before you walk up to the counter is always good. Means you don't have to pay extra. These are digital weighing scales, which for one reason or another lets you take the temperature as well. It's got a thermometer on it. I have no idea why, but in the case that you might need it, it's got it on there. Multi-adapters and multi-cables are fantastic. So I've got a multi-cable coming this afternoon. Have a look for one of those as well. I'll put it in the description. But multi-cables that have one USB input and lots of different outputs are fantastic. And then these types of chargers as well, like I mentioned, with lots of USB inputs. But if that's all going in your luggage, you want to make sure you have some that's already out. So having some charging gear and some travel adapters that go in your hand luggage is always important. So I always keep a little hand luggage version of that charging gear with a few USB connectors for the iPhone. So little chargers for little things, and a multi-travel adapter as well, which has got 2 USB points and has, well, Australian, UK, USA and Europe output, and you can plug anything into it. Having that in your hand luggage when you've got things like cameras to charge, having things like laptops to charge is absolutely essential, and I wouldn't put it in with my luggage. I'd always have it in with my hand luggage. Having mentioned them, external batteries are amazing, and Anchor have sent me a bit of free stuff, but I had this one and a few others before I actually went in with Anchor anyway. I do feel that they're the best for value for money, and they give a lot of charges off a single charge, if that makes sense. So have a look at those. External batteries are super important when traveling anyway. And one of those things that was in that charging bit of kit that I mentioned that I didn't get out in the first place is one of my favourite things that I've ever bought for £1.30, I think it was, and it's one of these. This is a little battery checker, so it checks the voltage or how much charge is left inside your battery at any time. So at home in the UK or wherever you are, but especially when you're travelling abroad, knowing how much charge is left in a battery is really annoying, because sometimes you might throw away batteries that are perfectly fine. Sometimes you put batteries into a camera and you find out that there's not enough charge in them. So for £1.30 you can get these. They're battery checkers, and I make sure that all my batteries are full or good at least before I put them in there and I go off getting those travel snaps or putting them in my chargers. So always make sure you have one of those. Some cool little travel hacks that help fix your things or even make sure that you are more organized. This is my little room of goodies, and inside here I'll have things like my Velcro tape. So a little Velcro tape that I can cut pieces off and wrap things up with, cables and whatever, and also then little pieces of Sugru. And Sugru is fantastic. It's like a moldable silicone rubber that you can fix things with on the run. Things like zippers, zips that come off your bag, zips that come off your clothes. You can fix shoes with it. You can fix almost anything with Sugru, so pick some of that up before you go as well. There's loads of other hints and top tips that I could give, but I'll be writing an article for Cotswold Outdoor in Japan for when I get back, so that'll go up online probably in the next month or so. They'll have lots more descriptions, lots more things that you can buy that makes your travel life a little bit easier. And over the next week or so, 2 weeks probably, I'll be in Japan and hopefully vlogging on the run. So I'm out there with Celebrity Cruises doing shore excursions and lots of different things. So hopefully I'll be vlogging on board, getting those things out and on different shore excursions as we go. And then when I'm back for a week and then off to Norway. So it's going to be lots of traveling over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully you'll follow me. Make sure you subscribe to get those videos and look back at the ones we've already done as well. And I'll see you in the next vlog.